Everybody's saying this is the better review of Blue Protocol Star Resonance after 500 hours. How the fuck did anybody play this beta for 500 hours already?
Hey, we did a rebrand. Anyways, let's get straight to the point. Blue Protocol Star Resonance is a banger. For only in its beta version, it already does so much more and so much better than the original that flopped in JP. The difference between old Blue Protocol and to what it is now
AFK
is
farming?
massive.
Oh,
The
okay.
resurrection of this IP is like Final Fantasy XIV when they shut down, then they reopened a little while later. BP Star Resonance has a solid foundation for a good release that doesn't come without a few issues, which I will also mention in this video. Okay, let me be completely direct with my first impressions. Before I even downloaded the beta for Star Resonance, I thought this game wasn't going to be that good. I think I fell under the same audience of folk that don't like mobile MMOs with all the games we had that fell under the same category like Taurus Land. And like that audience, we never played mobile MMOs because we always heard the awful stuff that take place in them, so we stayed clear from them for the most part. However, I wanted to give Star Resonance a chance since the Blue Protocol IP was something I cherished even after the shutdown of the original game. And let me tell you, I'm glad I gave it a second chance. First thing I noticed are the graphic improvements. Now, I'm no expert at defining every graphical change, but from a novice's perspective, it seems that the coloring has improved over the original.
All games need this type of jumping, okay? If I could jump like this, I'd play that game. Any game, if they just add jumping like this, I'd play it. Because I could just sit in town and spam this.
The overall cell shading has improved and more objects and terrain has improved depth to it.
Huge
Nothing
L's. Add jumping
groundbreaking
now.
in today's anime RPGs, but something that is noticeable over BP Japan's graphics. Exploration is another activity people enjoy, and while the graphics and traveling feel good, the game is still missing overworld events that could really bring the world to life.
Look kind of fucking
Sometimes
ugly
it
as
feels
fuck,
sort
bro.
of empty, and that might be due to the max render distance being too close to the player.
What? Wow, that's insane. What is the max render distance? That's like terrible.
Now, if you haven't figured it out yet,
It's like
Star
20 feet
Resonance
in
does
front
not
of you.
play 1-to-1 compared to the original. So far, none of the original cast has made it back to the story, with the story having an entirely new cast. Although many monster assets were reused from the original, almost all of them have entirely new attack patterns, and every boss has mechanics that has never appeared in the original.
Man,
This
boss
alters the
loves
way
spamming
dungeons are
pizza
played out,
cutters.
as now the boss fights at the end of a dungeon play a lot like similar fights you would see in FF14 or even Lost Ark. Back in the original, every boss has no mechanics and was simply a hit boss until a die simulator. While in Star Resonance, it's more of a traditional MMO boss fight utilizing the Holy Trinity consisting of tank, support, and DPS. In Star Resonance, your positioning is important for keeping uptime on the boss, and mechanic knowledge is important for clearing runs smoothly. All of this sounds amazing, but unfortunately in the beta most of these mechanics can be skipped if you overgear the content, and let me tell you, it was pretty easy to achieve that. The devs did do a Q&A regarding this issue, and they'll make necessary adjustments in order for mechs to play out normally, while also planning to add more mechs into the future. Now, let's talk about character progression. The game encourages you to play only one character, with the option to make alt characters if you feel like it.
Isn't there an easy way to fix this? Just make mechanics like make bosses interactable during mechanics and make the mechanics trigger a certain HP breakpoint. So like, and once they reaches that breakpoint, they become unhittable, and then they do the mechanic.
Hey babe,
Yeah.
looking
Going over
cute
reasons
today.
to play an alt
I don't
character
remember,
or
they went
account
to
in another video,
51.
but for right now,
I'm back.
it
Thank
isn't
you.
needed to reach endgame content. The game gives easy access to swap between classes. You will need an item from the shop to access more than 1 or 2 classes the game lets you play for free, but any free-to-play can earn access to a single new class within less than a week's worth of playing the game through a currency that the game gives, which is bounded rose orbs. Do not confuse bounded rose orbs with unbounded rose orbs, which I will explain later in this video.
Okay. So you could,
The
so free-to-plays can
offers a
still get enough of this currency to change classes. Okay.
talent tree, which was never a thing back in BP Japan. The tree branches into 2 paths currently for each class, which dramatically changes the way the class plays out. I like to yap a lot in my streams, so a class path that's easy to play while still doing infinite damage like Frost Mage's right tree was a good choice. The game also lets you level skills using a currency you obtain in-game.
Yo, low-key, that
Leveling
looks boring as
skills is
fuck.
an entirely
You're just
different
holding
system
down a
from
laser
your
beam.
class's skill tree. Both of these help a lot in building gear score. Along the topic of gear score, gearing also has more to offer in Star Resonance. There's substats on gear pieces you earn. There's also refining, reforging, gems,
Oh,
modules,
Shizzle, thank
armbands,
you again
combat
for the
fantasies,
22.
and possibly more I forgot off the top of
Hope
my
we're
head.
doing well.
But the point right now isn't to learn about what each progression does. It's more to know that there's more to work on in this game to where you won't become as bored as you did back in BPJP, where you were done gearing in less than a couple of days worth of playtime. Okay, now let's get something out of the way fast, which is the monetization. Uh-oh. The Chinese community has already heavily critiqued it as being unfair for those that didn't invest money into the game, and the devs talked about it in their Q&A and live streams, and will make adjustments for it to be more fair. But why was it unfair in the beta, you ask? This is mainly due to the unbounded rose orbs to unbounded Luna conversion in the auction house. You can buy unbounded rose orbs through the game's top off section. Afterwards, you can exchange that for unbound Luna, which is used to buy a variety of items, including items that would normally be time gated. Now, buying time gated items wouldn't be so much of a problem since anyone in the game can earn unbounded Luna without swiping. However, the amount of ways to obtain unbounded Luna is very limited to where the average non-whale cannot afford most of the time gated materials. Once again, Tencent is already aware that the player base is pissed off and will make changes. Furthermore, if you're ever worried that this will somehow bleed into global, you shouldn't worry since EU has laws preventing such predatory practices. Next, let's go over the casual side of content. Dungeons aren't the only way to earn gear. There are other side activities the user can engage with to farm gear, such as world bosses, and in the future, even the
or they'll just
system.
not have an EU server.
For a beta, there's a fair amount of emotes and gestures you can use in-game, with more coming in future updates. The chat system can be a bit clunky to use at times, but interacting with others through it is easy when you're only focusing on yapping and no other activities on the side.
There's a lot of people. Oh my god, I see people named someone named Miku.
Likely won't use it in global because I feel like I might get banned listening to some of the stuff you guys are gonna
Shadows?
be
He probably has
while
it
streaming.
reduced, but they exist.
There's
you can
even
see them.
What? Huh? No. Don't look at that. What? You get what I mean. There's a lot of cool social features in-game with more on the way. The devs already mentioned that they wanted to prioritize satisfying the casual audience.
I love stuff like
so
this.
Expect the activities I mentioned to be expanded later.
At the end of the day, what makes an MMO so fun
is
interacting with other players.
Many content in this game is on a server time gate, meaning it'll open up for everyone at the same time. You might be thinking, time gate, great. Game is bad, GG's. But somehow Tencent implemented it in a way where the time gate is natural and makes sense for the game while still being fun. I'm not the best at describing it, but pretty much every person that has played through the beta has similar opinions and believes it's good. Some of those people also played through Tower Fantasy's horrible time gate system and still say that Star Resonance did it well. I played through the beta and still had over 500 hours, so I think something about the time gate was done perfectly if I managed to have that many hours in a 3-week beta period. That pretty much wraps up my thoughts.
That's insane.
I might have missed over something, and if I did, that topic should have been
500 hours in 3 weeks?
Q&As and dev live streams. The Chinese community has been very thorough with their feedback to address key issues
Damn, bro,
the game
you
has.
glide forever.
To see all the Q&A yourself, check them out in the Star Resonance database community Discord. Link to it will be in the description below. Finally, what would I rate Star Resonance on a scale of 1 to 10 if it were to be released right now? Personally, I would give it a 7 out of 10. That sounds low, but let me explain the rating quickly. I am a harsh rater, and I even gave Original Blue Protocol in Japan a 4 out of 10 for a first impression. But I still enjoyed playing the game despite the low rating. So before
I think it comes down to what other games does he play as well. When someone rates something, you have to know what other games he has played. Like I see PSO, Blue Protocol, Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream. He's played a lot. He's a MapleStory player. He has 10,000 out. Oh, okay. Oh, there's. Okay, so you're okay. This is Bidoof. Oh, wait, 10,000 hours of Lost Ark. Did you play any MMOs? Like older MMOs? ArcH, BDO, Terra, Ion, Blade and Soul. Any of those? Yeah, I'm naming some old school RuneScape BDO. Okay.
Before I dive deep into this topic, a little backstory about me. I did play the game.
Okay, this is the question that'll be most serious here. How long did you play BDO, and were you a life skiller or a PvPer? This determines how I connect to your rating. There are a lot of BDO players, but there's two types of BDO players, and those two types are completely different. So I need to know which one you are. Are you a life skiller or are you a node war slash sieger? I connect more with the node war slash siegers. I don't really understand why people that do life skills play BDO. I don't, but like, you know, I know a lot of friends who love that. I had people who had literally all the top medals on each channel they were on for life skilling, but I thought life skilling was a waste of fucking time. But life skilling system is great. It is. And you can get a lot of passive income off of that. I just never did it. Was still casual in MMOs, casual nodes, and some life skilling. So he wasn't like he wasn't like hardcore one way or the other. He was just like an average player. All right. Okay. I think that's fine.
For about 2,000 hours. And
I got all my money in BDO with life skills. I got all my money in BDO by becoming the GM of owning 4 castles and giving myself a bigger paycheck.
Class. Furthermore, when you consider all the MMOs out there right now that aren't the juggernauts, like
just
Final
give
Fantasy
myself
14,
a bigger
World of
paycheck,
Warcraft, or
easy.
RuneScape, many of them are 6 out of 10 right now, or even lower.
Wait,
7
what
out
did he
of
say?
10,
I missed it.
6 out of 10. Many of them World of Warcraft, that's like Final Fantasy. When you consider all the MMOs out there right now that aren't the juggernauts, like Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, or RuneScape, many of them are 6 out of 10 right now, or even lower. 7 out of 10 is already a good start for standard MMOs, and I can already see a handful of players giving it a higher rating than mine. It already has a lot of cool features for a beta, with more planned adjustments and additional features along
Star
the way.
Resonance.
Hopefully, I see you all playing Star Resonance someday.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this game.
I'll be covering Star Resonance extensively, so if you want to see more thoughts from someone that plays thoroughly through the endgame, be sure to like and subscribe because that'll help this small YouTuber out. That's all. Until the next one, bye-bye.
Not a bad video. I could see why some people said that this was a better video than 1010's, because he covers a little bit more details than 1010 did. But yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like it's just too early, right, to really tell how we're gonna feel about this game. We gotta see what they do change-wise. I don't know when it's coming out in China. It should be soon. Sometime Q3 it'll come CN. Okay, that means we might not get this in global this year. Do we know if we're getting this year? I kind of have a little hankering for MMO. Like, unironically, that's why I'm willing to try Crystal of Atlan, because I want something to, like, grind. Bro, like, I'm sitting, it says 2025 on Steam. Okay, my game that I play in my free time is a fucking glorified dinosaur roleplay game, okay? I need something to grind. I need something. All right, listen, I need something to grind. It's fucking rough. I unironically had an itching to go back to Maple Story the other day, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Nope, not doing it. Because here's the thing, I don't mind spending money on an MMO if I'm enjoying it, but I feel like whenever I spend money on Maple Story, it's a fucking waste of money, and I end up spending so much fucking money on Maple Story whenever I go back, because I end up wanting to buy every fucking cosmetic. If you do come back now, it's the best time. I got 8K Legion in 2 months in a new account. Will you check out Chrono Odyssey? Yes. I signed up for I am very excited for Chrono Odyssey. Obviously, we have no idea what Chrono Odyssey is going to feel like or play like. I don't want to compare Star Resonance to Chrono Odyssey, but Chrono Odyssey might be better fleshed out product. Just because I feel like Tencent is kind of just working with the leftovers of Blue Protocol and has to kind of like fix up from there, whereas Chrono Odyssey is a independent game of like from the ground up by itself. So yeah, we'll see.